So, you want to do a Sonic the Hedgehog impression? An impression of the blue blur? The fastest thing alive? The Night of the Wind? The Big Blue?
That filthy rodent that invades your mind and takes over your entire life!
Well, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is everyone's vocal cords are different, and there's a pretty random possibility for you to be able to do this voice. The good news is I could give you a few pointers on how to try by doing my best to explain what I do for it. I'll be covering all 3 voice actors to be featured in mainline Sonic games over the years. Well, let's go! First, let's talk about the essentials of a Sonic voice in general. The only real thing that's consistent between all of them is their energetic optimism, all-around nice guy sounding voice. It could be high or deep, but most of the time
It is depicted as high in the pitch sense.
not in the squeaky sense. A Sonic voice also needs the flexibility to be serious in some situations despite his carefree nature. To do a Sonic impression, you just need to do that and combine elements from your favorite portrayals, or just do an impression of one of them. Most Sonic voice actors start off like that, or kinda weak anyways, and then evolve into their own voice over time. This is mostly just getting an idea of some of those portrayals you might want to impersonate and or take inspiration from. For my Sonic voice, I just impersonate Jason Griffith, but am slowly attempting to add more Ryan Drummond aspects to it. Anyways, the actual first one is Ryan Drummond. He voiced Sonic in the games from 1998 to 2004. This is the one I think I could impersonate the best.
He has this high-pitched, cartoony, albeit somewhat consistent voice, and is easily the most energetic of the 3. It also seems to get more energetic in each game he's in.
His Sonic voice is the most different from his natural speaking voice, which is way deeper than you'd expect.
I'd recommend shaping the way you speak around smiling, if that makes any sense.
Next up is Jason Griffith. He voiced Sonic in the games from 2005 to 2010. He's probably the easiest for my vocal cords to handle, as his voice is sort of just a breathier, more energetic version of my own voice.
His voice started off more cartoony and trying a bit too hard to sound like, presumably, Ryan Drummond. Then it started to sound more like his own, but in the exact same tone for each line. Then finally got the hang of making it sound natural just as he was being replaced. He's got this breathy, energetic, teen-sounding voice, and his voice turns sort of gruff when grunting or yelling, but not to the point where it's hard to tell he's playing the same character.
He also kind of sounds like a less cartoony, more natural, slightly older version of Ryan Drummond's take on Sonic. So try to do something like that. Finally is Roger Craig Smith. He's been voicing Sonic for the longest time out of these guys, starting in 2010 and still voicing him currently. He has the deepest Sonic voice out of the 3 and mostly just uses a somewhat altered version of his own voice. He's the hardest for me to sound like due to how unique and specific to himself his voice is. It started off a really cartoony voice that's higher than his normal voice he thought would be suitable for something kids to play. Then once he used a really deep, more natural Sonic voice to better fit the tone of the game he's in. And now he seems to be combining the two in a way that's closer to his natural voice. I'm not sure if this will make any sense to you at all, but I'd recommend you elongate your voice, stretch it out, and try to sound like an older, cool guy or something. I'd recommend starting off trying to impersonate his deeper Sonic voice and just gradually increase the pitch a bit. Anyways, that was my best attempt at explaining the inner workings of Sonic's vocal cords, and a way for me to celebrate his 33rd anniversary. Thanks for watching. Now here's how to do a classic Sonic from Sonic Generations impression.